When the taste of the palm wine changes, obviously the drinking pattern will also change, and that's what has happened.
Okowa was the wrong choice PDP should have made in 2023 in the build-up to that presidential election, because even the committee that was constituted recommended Wike. 14 out of 18 of them went with Wike.
Senator, I'm making some analysis. Whether you agree with it or not, that is my own viewpoint. Whatever you say, that may be your own viewpoint. But if you want to also be the questioner and the person that will answer the question, perhaps.
What will surprise me is if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu believes that people are joining APC because they love him or because he's doing so fantastically well.
There seems to be a project to destroy all the opposition political parties.
So if you have been following the rather shameless way opposition political parties in Nigeria have been joining the All Progressive Congress in the last 1 year, I'm sure this will not be too much of a surprise for you. And if that made your stomach turn, wait till you hear the reactions of both the PDP and the APC to this development.
The history of Nigerian politics is replete with stories of defections. When you talk about our leader, Okowa, joining APC, I'm not surprised. He's been under serious harassment in recent time. And don't forget that in 1993, one of the first people to dump Chief Moshood Abiola was Baba Gana Kingibe, who was his running mate. So it's nothing new. What will surprise me is if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu believes that people are joining APC because they love him or because he's doing so fantastically well. What people are doing now is a game of survival. Gone are the days when we used to boast that to go to prison makes us a martyr. Gone are the days when we admire the likes of Nelson Mandela, Jomo Kenyatta, MKO Abiola, Chief Awolowo, all of them for going to detention. These days, nobody wants to go to detention. Everybody wants to be at home to enjoy whatever money they have made in politics. So if you see people today, name one of them who has not been harassed at different times by either EFCC, ICPC, or Special Fraud Unit, or any of the agencies. So for me, it is clear that this government's strategy is a carrot and stick. If we can't persuade you, we can force you. And I think force is working for now. But in politics, anything can change in 24 hours. I remember in those days when I was growing up, during the Awolowo time, and they used to sing, Boroju mi o, rinu mi demo over. If you see my face, you cannot see my stomach. My advice to Asiwaju is that you should not trust these politicians. Right now, everybody can see that he is determined to have a second term, but God gave him the first time, not through coercion. So I don't know why he now believes that we get second term only via coercion.
Dele Momodu, is it fair?
Seun, just a minute. My advice to him is simply that he should uphold our democratic tenets. He should not turn Nigeria into a dictatorship. It was on your program in October 2022 when I warned about the possibilities ahead of us in Nigeria. And now it's playing out before our very eyes. My advice is no matter what happens, you can fail in everything. You were a pro-democracy man before you became president. Please allow democracy to breathe in Nigeria. If you don't, I can bet my life that later in life, it will be regrettable. I won't say more than that.
Now, let me ask, would it be fair to say the decision of some of these people are based on coercion?
Do they look like people who are being coerced? You know a lot, and you move around a lot of your colleagues who are in the political space. Would you say these people were coerced? Is it fair to say that?
There is no coercion in Nigeria today bigger than a former governor being ridiculed, being described. You know, in Nigeria, once it is alleged that you stole 10 billion, everybody believes it. And we've warned in the past. In fact, under Nuhu Ribadu, I remember writing an open letter to Nuhu Ribadu when he was in EFCC, that it's unfair to criminalize people on the pages of newspapers, because if tomorrow they are found innocent, how are you going to clean up the damage you've already done to them? So today, everybody is scared. If the governor is not directly affected because they have immunity, their godfathers are being harassed. So their godfathers must be protected. The game is clear. It's nothing new. We've seen it before, and it is replaying itself. But I am repeating it. Democracy must be democracy. The moment a leader decides that he wants everybody to move, look at Abacha. Everybody declared for Abacha at the point. Everybody declared. But what was the end of it? So I am saying it again and again that it's either we want democracy or we don't want democracy. Some of us suffered for it. Tinubu was one of us. He was a major player. And when everybody was even dumping our party that time during the Obasanjo time, he stood firm. And that's what turned him into a hero. Everything I'm doing today, I copied from Tinubu himself, because he was the one who told us that yes, we must fight against dictatorship. And so he cannot abandon that fight and then say we have no right to continue. So a few of us, even if it is one or two, we will continue to tell him the truth that what is going on in Nigeria today is a disaster. And if you remember the MPN in those days, they won an election in 1983, which they call moonslide. We moved from landslide to moonslide. But where is MPN today? So you will see what will become of APC.
Yeah.
What was done in Lagos is now being replicated at the national level. And that is why you see everybody. In fact, I will not be surprised if tomorrow, if INEC declares that they have joined APC. I will not be surprised. The way we are going now, everybody, so we will complete it at that stage.
Now, give us an understanding how President Tinubu is to be blamed. In the National Assembly, we've been seeing defections, Labour Party and all whatnot. They are moving into the APC. In fact, members of their party, some of them have gone to court to challenge the decision of some of their members moving into the APC. How would you describe a sitting governor who just spent just about less than 2 years in office? Can the president coerce a sitting governor who in his own right has his own legitimacy of office? And we understand that a few governors are also coming. Akwa Ibom governor publicly was supporting President Bola Tinubu. Governor of Delta State publicly was supporting President Bola Tinubu. I mean, is it a blame of the PDP? Because the party seems not to have found his own self and his own character in the last few years, and is really, really in trouble at the moment. Is it that to blame, or you blame someone who sits in the Aso Villa for coercion of people who are adults and they have minds of their own?
APC is in more trouble than any other party in Nigeria. The only thing binding APC together today is the fact that they have a lot of matches to distribute. But they have problems. APC, for the past nearly 2 years, they've been blaming Buhari for the problems, all the troubles in Nigeria. The same APC today is running to Yoyo, to Kaduna, to go and try to appease him. We don't know if he will be appeased or not, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm not bothered about whether they are using coercion or not, directly or indirectly. It is clear to me that it's a game of force. And a lot of governors right now are jittery. They are telling them in the background, and it is a fact, they are telling them, if you support us, we will leave you alone. If you don't support us, we will give you trouble. That's all. It's a game. And I can't blame the governors. What do you want them to do? They can see clearly what happened to their colleague Fubara in a state that is so peaceful. Fubara was taken out in a blistering attack orchestrated by a minister in Abuja called the use of Wiki. They took him out. Nothing happened. So now everybody will take a cue from that. That is what is happening. If you don't call that coercion, what will you call it? Tell me what was wrong in Rivers that Fubara had to be removed. Today we are reading that Fubara is meeting with them and negotiating with them. That is his business, not my own business, whether it's negotiating with them. But what I know was that Tinubu was the last man standing in Lagos. And that is why it became a symbol of democracy. So if others cannot learn from that just because you want a second term or because you are afraid of going to prison, there is nothing going to prison. Awolowo went to prison. He became a superstar thereafter. There's nothing wrong with it. So if anybody today arrests you because you are talking, truth to power, so be it. But we have all become chickens. I said it on the program, about 2 weeks ago. Everybody is a chicken. Oh, you don't want to be touched. Oh, my son is at home. You can sit down at home and something will happen to you in your house. So don't let anybody create panic in you. Don't be intimidated or bullied by anybody.
Chief Momodu,
no.
Are you worried that this is perhaps the death of the PDP?
Look, did AG not die? Did AC not die? Did ACN not die? Did MPN not die? What's strange? What is new about a party dying? How did APC himself come about? How did it come about? It was via the destruction of PDP at that time. So it's not the first time that PDP will be destroyed. And if they decide that it will rise up again, it will rise up again. So there's nothing new about a party dying. MPN used to boast that they were the greatest party on earth. Where is MPN today? So there is nothing new. I remember when Abacha took over and everybody was jumping ship and going to work for Abacha. I remember it very vividly. My uncle, Ebino Topsy, all of them were telling us that you are small kids, you don't know anything. And we told them that the history of politics in Nigeria has shown that this thing cannot end well.
Chief Momodu, as it is right now, what is your fear about 2027? Because you feel that what is going on right now, by the freedom that people have chosen to associate, it has a negative side to it. Does it have any implication for 2027?
I have no fear whatsoever. If you know me, I have no fear whatsoever about 2027. In fact, what this has assured me is that history will rise up to the challenge, is that people are going to rise up and resist this attempt to foster another kind of military dictatorship on Nigeria. In fact, it will force people to reject APC. It will force people to come together. Yes, they can gather all the governors. Are the governors the only people who can guarantee victory at the election? I am telling you, if these governors can come out boldly to say, oh, this is what Tinubu has done in Nigeria, this is why we are joining him. Oh, everything, education is smooth. Oh, electricity, we now have electricity, we have water, we have good health, we have everything. Then it will be easy for us to say, okay, maybe we should join this man. But for as long as they cannot tell us the reason why, and the only reason is obviously because of selfishness, we're the most selfish human beings on earth, and we lack shame. People just lack shame. Because if you have shame, you will at least wait. If government has not even done its meter, you're already jumping ship.
So Festus Kayamo says that Festus Kayamo said in his tweet that the party is now attracting, and he was thanking President Tinubu that now his party, APC, is attracting people like his leader, the governor of Delta State. How do you react to that?
Look, my big brother, okay, the former what do you call it? Adam Shomole, okay, who was an activist himself, once said that once you join APC, all your sins are forgiven. That is what is happening. There is nothing new. What do I expect Festus to say? That is his party. That is where today he is a minister. So do I expect him to criticize? No. That is why freedom is the greatest thing a man can possess. Once you have freedom, then you are able to assess things very, very dispassionately. I am telling you, I'm as objective as they can. I am not bothered at all what they will do in 2027. Only God knows tomorrow. But for those who know God, you will never know what is possible. I am telling you, they can permutate, they can arrange what we call arranging government. Let them do everything, but God already knows what will happen tomorrow. Any governor who, because of second term, has already jumped before midterm, what will he now do on the other side of this? Of the other term?
So
He will jump into the Atlantic Ocean?
To wrap this up, to summarize the conversation, Chief Momodu, what I'm hearing, and when I tell people that I'm hearing things, they always wonder where I hear them from. But having been on this job for this long, sometimes some of us hear these things and they are like prophecy and they happen. One of your closest friends, who is also a governor, we understand also my move. He's coming right home. He's getting so close to you, Chief Momodu. If that happens, would you have a change of mind about what is going on? Is he also going to be coerced if he does?
No, if he joins them, he will have his reasons for joining them. But that has nothing to do with me. That's why, because you don't know me. If I would have joined anybody blindly with Tinubu because of our closeness, when we were fighting for this democracy. But since he has moved on, he has derailed from that path. So we, his disciples at that time, have decided to continue. And we shall continue to oppose any form of dictatorship, even if by word of mouth alone. I'm happy, because that is what freedom is all about. I want to exercise my freedom. I want to enjoy that freedom. And we will continue to tell the world that what they are doing is wrong. It does not matter who joins them. If my friend decides to join them tomorrow, I'll call for him and say, hey, my brother, sorry, they got you finally. It's a pity. But what can he do? He alone cannot do much, and he has people also within the political family who will talk to him and advise him that don't let these people destroy your ambition or destroy your future. That's what happens in politics. I understand it perfectly. But I'm talking as a freeborn today, as a free man, that what is going on in Nigeria is dangerous for our democracy.
So does it give paid to the fact that those who say this is a straw, it will be a straw for Bola Tinubu in 2027? And the APC?
No, that is the mistake you are making. I remember a friend when we were in exile. I don't want to mention his name. He's a very famous writer. One day he collapsed while thinking about Abacha. He was at Brixton Station. He collapsed. The last thing he said before he collapsed, Abacha will reign forever. Did Abacha reign forever?
So I have a lot of respect for Mr. Momodu, but there seems to be some contradictions in what he has just said there. In one breath, he seems to be saying he understands why these politicians are defecting to the APC. And in another, he seems to be saying, why can't these politicians emulate President Tinubu, who himself was the last man standing in Lagos during his time as governor? Or am I missing something here? Anyways, this next one.
Are you worried about the feelers that your party and this government is turning Nigeria into a one-party state?
How can we turn Nigeria into one-party states? The country is not our making. The politics of the country is not our making. I think the problem with Nigeria is that we don't seem to have people who are very serious in opposition and who takes, their job serious. You will not want a ruling party to do its work for you. And I want to, I challenge your journalists. Tomorrow is a working day. Go around the headquarters of all other political parties and see whether you see any activity going on. One of the cardinal policies of our party when the leadership of Dr. Oborevwori Ganduje took over is that we want to have a functionally efficient party structure in every ward, local government, and states in Nigeria. And that, we are doing. We cannot do the work of opposition, for them. When we were in opposition, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for instance, in the Southwest, was the only surviving governor after the 2003 election. Even with what somebody was saying about harassment, the now NSA said that then Governor Bola Tinubu was the most investigated governor by the EFCC. After he left government, he was here in Abuja, arraigned before the Code of Conduct tribunal, and he went through a whole trial in that place. He did not abandon the ship. Rather, we were moving from one state to the other, try to expand the scope of our activity.
But the allegation, Senator, the allegation is that your party is using the power of state and security agencies to hound opposition voices. Is that a democracy that you are glad to operate?
You see, Amika Cabra said that tell no lie, claim no is a victory. When you are, as an opposition party, you begin to lie to yourself as to what is wrong with your party and laying the blame on what did not exist. I'll give you some factual background to show that it's a lame excuse to talk about harassment. Before today, at least 15 members of the House of Rep from Labour, SDP, PDP, NNPP are decamped to the APC. Some of them are first-timer. Do they even have any problem with the FCC? Have they even served for 2 years? And 3 senators, including the late Ifeanyi Okowa, had also decamped to the APC. Today, Oborevwori from Uriadi Obokun constituency has also decamped. All these people, do they have any problem with TFCC or ICPC? It's not the case of harassment.
No, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa,
it's a case.
Is being investigated.
He's not the only person. Senator, this manager that was the spokesperson, does he have any problem? All the members of the House of Assembly.
Ifeanyi Okowa will be perhaps the leader of the party in the state.
Even last 2 weeks ago, I was in Delta, I was in Agbo, when the Delta Unity Group, led by the chairman of NDDC, including the daughter of former Governor James Iboli, decamped to the APC. I think the old upla they are making, maybe because they know the importance of Delta to the opposition party. But as a political party, I must first and foremost give credence to the sagacity of not only the president, but the Progressive Governors Forum and the leadership of the National Working Committee of our party. We go around. We are like Jehovah's Witness. Apology to those who belong to that religious organization. Go around and proselytize our own party, irrespective of whether nooks and crannies. I can't remember my schedule in a week. I was telling somebody last week when I was in Osun that within a space of 72 hours, I had been in 6 states. From Abuja to Kaduna, Kaduna to Benin City to Agbo, Agbo to Uguachiuku, then back to Benin, then Lagos, then Osun. How many party bureaucrats, how many political parties in Nigeria is doing such kind of work, putting industry to solidify? So I will not take claim.
If there are no covert and overt hounding of opposition voices, what would you say then is attracting people to your party? There must be some magical powers.
I'm talking of mobilization. I've told you, you need to engage people and let them see why they should come.
The question
to
is,
this property. And I will give you
a performing party.
Because
in almost 2 years, Senator, there are those who will say that your party has failed Nigerians and they have been woeful in your performance in delivering the promises that you gave to the nation. So what else is now attracting people to your party?
Democracy is about heterogeneity of ideas. In fact, anybody, just like the previous speaker said, can play a Tuesdays scenario. For those who can see the good work that our president is doing, they easily get to our side. And the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, made a comment, I think about some few days ago, when he said that he doesn't see any difficulty in President Bola Tinubu getting second term, because the governors and the other state actors, they can see that the states are best positioned to deliver on good government to them. The chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, when we held our NEC meeting, said that the allocation to the state, because of the reform policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are tripled. Just last allocation, 1.65 trillion was distributed along to the state. When in the equivalent period, they used to distribute just 500 billion. So when you have governors who now have respite from taking loans to be able to pursue developmental activity, who have respite from not taking loans to be able to pay salaries and allowances, and then coming to join the government to be able to do
Senator,
so.
this allusion that I'm going to make, you will understand it better. When men are falling over themselves or for a beautiful bride, people will say it's for the beauty. The ugly bride, what happens when men are falling over? The question is that why would people be falling over themselves for your party? It could be a voodoo politics that you are playing, isn't it?
I'm a Muslim. I don't believe in voodoo. And I also believe, just as I told you, Amika Cabra said, tell no lie, claim no fiction. What you see today are serious, outcome of serious efforts.
If many Nigerians describe your party as a failed party, based on your promises to the Nigerian people, will failure be attracting any kind of attraction that we're seeing?
It shows that the premise upon the analysis is also wrong. You see, anybody can...
Has your party not failed Nigerians?
We have not failed Nigerian people. And
what have you done to defend the promises? Have you been able to live up to the bidding of the promises you made at the campaign in 2023, Senator, as a party?
You see, let me tell you, you can, when it comes to making analysis, it's easy to just make statements and to just go. Last year, we had issues about food inflation in this country. This year, that food inflation had gone down. And there are empirical basis for you to go and be able to do so. Dealing with problem of development is never a straightforward thing. It's never a straight jacket thing. It's a process that has to come both with pains, both with gains. But what we are saying is that at the political level, our party is making gains because we are appealing.
Because of the pains? The pains. The unintentional or the uninformed decision and policy that your party has made that have thrown Nigeria into this kind of horror.
That is your own view, and which of
you
course,
made policies that caused food inflation. You made policies
I've told you
that tumbled the Nigerian economy and caused Nigerians shame. These are the decisions of the party in power.
I expected you when Mr. Dele Momodu was speaking. You gave him opportunity to say what he wants to say.
You're speaking, Senator.
So if you don't want me to say, perhaps I should excuse myself and leave your studio.
Senator, you're
speaking. Making some analysis. Whether you agree with it or not, that is my own viewpoint. Whatever you say, that may be your own viewpoint. But if you want to also be the questioner and the person that will answer the question, perhaps I may excuse myself from this place.
If I'm asking you a question, Senator, and as someone who is in power, you are the party in government, and if you are not delivering to the Nigerian people, it might be as uncomfortable as it may be right now, and the room might be hotter than you feel naturally.
I'm comfortable.
Senator.
Let me talk.
I'm allowing you to talk, but you're not answering the question whether or not you have performed to the expectations of the Nigerian people.
Possibly you may excuse me for
Senator,
the program if you don't want me to talk.
Have you committed, have you done to the Nigerian people what you promised?
Since we came into power, we have put in place NEL Fund, whereby no less than 500,000 Nigerian students are benefited from that. We have started Credit Corp to have access to consumer products, by Nigerian people. We have stimulated production in the agriculture sector, which has led to the downward spiral of food inflation. We have also been able to address the problem of source supply of resources for infrastructure development. We are also engaging in serious infrastructure development that will catalyze the economy. We are talking of the coastal way. We are talking of development of the rail sector. We're also talking about revamping our refinery so that we can increase the capacity for local production and reduce the pressure on the dollars. And of course, we have also been able to address some of the macroeconomic challenges we have, which have led to the reduction on the foreign debt before our government.
If you have to grade yourself as a party in power, how would you do that?
I would do 78%.
Really?
Honestly, anyone who scores this current APC government an A is either just waking up from a coma or is the most deluded human being alive. I'm talking about delusions. You will never find a political party that exemplifies this better than you know who.
Joining us now in the studio is the Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Ibrahim Abdullahi. Thank you so much for joining us on the news tonight.
Thank you, Adeso, for having me.
I mean, we've seen defections, but not the scale, and never in Delta State, which has originally been a PDP state since 1999. Did you see this coming as a party, or was it as a result of underestimating the internal wranglings of your party?
Well, to start with, I don't think we have a problem of that magnitude to warrant the kind of step taken today by Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborevwori and the entire machinery of the state that was controlled by PDP. It has turned out to us as a surprise and a very disappointing one. This is the disappointment that some of us foresaw when early in the day we warned and we were requesting some of the things we did wrongly to be corrected. Otherwise, we will find ourselves in a very pathetic situation like the case today. But suffice to say, let me from the onset make it clear that PDP is not deterred. I have, at the risk of sounding reputational, always argued that it's the elephant in the house. 27 years down the drain, it still remains unshaken with the same objective, values, and logo, and the name. And it will be disappointing to the founding fathers of this party, the few that are alive, to see to it that it is degenerating to this sorry state, where a state like Delta, that we believed is our stronghold, where we worked so tirelessly and burnt the candle. We went to court, we made all that was possible to ensure that we kept that state in our control. But sadly, we have lost it today without a justifiable reason. The party is not in any crisis, as it were, to warrant this kind of decision. Yes, we are facing challenges. These are in-house bickering that you will agree are inevitable in political party and formations of movement. Because including the ruling party, the APC, we all are in trouble. The country's political parties are facing one challenge or the other. Is it Labour? Is it ABGA? Is it NNPP in Kano? So PDP is the only one that even defied the odds, staying still with 12 until today, 11 governors, and is still providing leadership in these respective states where it's in control. And the little in-house bickering that we have contended with in the last couple of months, we thought we were getting to address that chapter. Only a fortnight ago, you saw the governors, including the same sheriff, churning out their press conference, the communique that they issued, to the effect that they were going to put the house in order. So one would be left with amazement as to why, this early in the day, he would just, but it's not surprising when you have people that are spineless, people that are devoid of character, as it were, because I wouldn't see, this is one of the most painful decisions taken by any governor in, Nigerian history. You have a state that is robust, one that we were proud of, and we don't think there's enough problem in your state to warrant this decision. There's not enough at the national level. If all of it is instigated by the fact that our former presidential candidate, and that is the crux of the matter with which I laid the foundation, that the argument some of us were making, that he was not the most suitable person to be anointed by Atiku Abubakar. And that's the ground that I still maintain. I came here and I spoke in different fora, arguing that Okowa was the wrong choice PDP should have made in 2023 in the build-up to that presidential election. Because even the committee that was constituted recommended Wike. 14 out of 18 of them went with Wike. The second person should have been Udom, if you are talking about a gentleman with demeanor and performance. And if you are talking about competence, brand and capacity, then Wike would stand out.
And now the Wike you talk about has praised or, applauded Okowa for the move. I mean, apparently, listening to you, truly, it is saddening for the PDP. Is this the non-demetis of the PDP?
No,
Is this the obituary of the PDP?
No, I can't.
Because it does look, with this mass exodus from the opposition party to the APC, looks like it's an endorsement of the performance of the governing party.
No. It's just a decision informed by greed, avarice, and selfishness. You cannot see why a governor, for example, will move away. Some will argue that the former presidential, candidate was instrumental to the movement. It can be understood from that context, but it will be sad, because I wouldn't know what atrocity you committed that the APC will cow you into submitting yourself with the entire machinery, because he literally lured the governor into that conundrum. Whatever it is they want to achieve or escape from, we'll see it in the fullness of time. But then I want to assure you, it's a very reckless decision. It's a condemnable one. PDP is sad. PDP is disappointed. In any case, you don't expect anything from the character of the person, of the governor. I would not want to speak about personality, but honestly speaking, those who trace this antecedent, you would see why he will find comfort in this kind of movement. But it's sad. It's a disappointing
When you say
narrative.
he was lured, what exactly do you mean? Who lured him, and what was he lured with?
Well, the vice presidential candidate is expected to be an influential leader in the party. You know, he was his boss. He facilitated his emergence as governor, and he's still very instrumental to a lot of things happening in there. And so a lot of persons have argued that that's the position, but it remains to be seen. We are waiting his speech.
So what will the PDP do now to, tell itself the truth? Because this is a reality. And like they say, in politics, it's about the numbers. And when you keep hemorrhaging in the way you're doing, I mean, it's definitely not sustainable. What is the plan that the PDP has?
We have more than enough plan, Ngozi. Right. Only 3 days back, you would recall the national chairman in acting capacity, Ambassador Umar Iliadamagun, received a lot of defectors also into the party. A good number of them are meeting with us increasingly. We are having nocturnal meetings to that effect to see how we would also nip the situation in the bud by opening our house a little more. All the options are on the card now to see how we will confront 2027 with this behemoth that we have in place as or army of occupation called government. Certainly, it is becoming clearer that what they are doing now is to, encroach on the frontiers of all political parties and silence voices of dissent by ensuring that they remain the only one. They have succeeded in cowing, the judiciary. They also succeeded in cowing the electoral umpire. They have succeeded in cowing even the security agencies. And now it's political parties they are making inroad into. But PDP will not give up yet. We have 11 governors, and they are doing excellently well in their respective states.
Are you counting Oborevwori among the 11 governors?
No, it used to be 12.
Okay, but there are reports that you're about to lose more governors to the APC. Are you worried? And then you seem to blame every other person but yourselves. You say Governor Oborevwori was lured. You say, and I imagine you're referring to the APC, has cowed everybody and is intimidating everybody from the judiciary now to political parties. But you don't blame yourselves for what you have on your hand. And the question about losing more, the PDP is hemorrhaging, really.
I don't think that is the correct narrative, Adesua. We've struggled.
Have you heard? Do you know? Because this is coming as a surprise to you that the governor of Delta State and the entire political structure in Delta State has defected. As a party, do you know that some of your governors are still planning to defect?
We will wait until we get to that bridge. If they do, they will have to justify what their reasons are. But that again will open the opportunity for the states where these governors are coming from to be able to take stock.
The governor of Akwa Ibom State, for example, Umoino, openly endorsed Tinubu for 2027.
But whether he is now going to leave the PDP to do so is a different kettle of fish. We will wait until he does that. In the meantime, we are still counting on Akwa Ibom and the governor as our member, and we will leave it at that. If they choose to go that way, it's up to them. But Nigerians, particularly these states where they are watching the mandate, and this calls for a constitutional review for us as a party to see to it that quality people with character allowed, the opportunity to continue.
The entire PDP structure in Delta State has been moved into the APC. I mean, how did it come to this? What did the PDP do to deserve this?
When the taste of the palm wine changes, obviously the drinking pattern will also change. And that's what has happened in terms of the politics of our dear state and across the length and breadth of Nigeria. You have followed a whole lot of development in the polity, and we have gone through certain processes, particularly consulting with a whole number of persons in our dear state who belong to our party because we are a political family, and they were unanimous that it's important that we take this political move today. Charles.
Well, I mean, the people are still scratching their heads, and I wonder what you would say the APC has done to deserve this gift from the entire PDP structure in Delta State. I mean, have they earned enough credits from the Nigerian people to be handed over such a commanding gift on a platter of gold?
I'm sure I have followed you over time and because of your interviews, and you are somebody I have enormous respect for. You have also mentioned at the course of time that somehow every politics is local. We have examined the decision we took today, particularly in line with our development trajectory, and we believe that this decision will help to further cement the development focus of our government in Delta. We have seen the need to collaborate with the federal government so that at the end of the day, much more dividends of democracy is made available to our people. What is driving us at this moment is the need to cement those developmental efforts, collaborate with the center, and bring those many good things that the center can afford to possibly make available to our people. We have examined the development also in our own party, and we discovered that over time there seem to be a whole lot of challenges that have become quite intractable, and that it is said that where you have peace, development is most likely to thrive. And we needed where we'll be able to have enough peace, collaborate with a number of persons both at the center and across the length and breadth of this country, all with a view to ensuring that we bring that development that is much needed and cement it in our dear state. Charles.
Well, I mean, President Bola Tinubu has said, he said it at the outset and he said it subsequently, that he is a president for not some, but all Nigerians. That he's not a president for states that are APC governed, but that he's a president for all Nigerians, irrespective of what state that is and who's governing the state, and that everybody is entitled to the benefits and the dividends of democracy. I mean, on that basis, why would you need to switch to the APC in order to get what you perceive to be the benefits of the dividends of democracy?
Well, my brother Charles, as a professional, you do know that sometimes you migrate from one job or one profession to the other, or from one particular occupation to the other, which you may call occupational migration. You do not migrate only because you feel that where you are going to is going to afford you the opportunity of realizing certain goals that you may have set for yourself. But sometimes you also have to migrate because it gives you peace of mind. And so when people move from one place to the other, there are reasons behind it. And I have made it very, very clear that we have moved because, number one, we are quite convinced that in that movement, we will be able to further cement the development trajectory that we have witnessed in the last 22 months. And that in doing so, we are also collaborating with the rest of the country. Majority of our people have seen the need to collaborate with the president, even across the divide. So it's not just a southern issue. And so for us to take that decision, and particularly with every member of the PDP, especially our leaders at the National Assembly, at the State Assembly, political leaders in the state, both former and present, in terms of those who have been in the National Assembly and those who have held sway at different levels, the chairman of local government, and then past leaders of the state. They have done a lot of analysis, and we have discovered that the trajectory of our own party, the PDP, is not likely going to conform with those development goals that we have set for ourselves going forward. And that is why we took this decision, not because we believe that the PDP should be buried, but because we have seen the need to move forward in such a way that we bring much more development to our state.
Well, you mentioned earlier, Mr. Niagu, that you have followed my career, and I have to say that I have also followed your career. And I think you've done very well for yourself politically. I mean, you've always said, if I remember correctly, that you are a Democrat. You've described yourself as a Democrat. I wonder whether it concerns you that this could well appear to look as if Nigeria is turning into a one-party state, and how much that rankles you as a Democrat.
What you understand, democracy is about number. It's not about where you are standing at a time. It's about democracy. We must be able to define what democracy offers us and what it doesn't offer us. And I told you there is a very wide range of consultation that was carried out by our leaders. And at the end of the day, it was the overwhelming view of members of the party. That's very democratic. The governor did not just wake up and say, I'm jumping into another party. He consulted widely, and a whole number of leaders moved a unanimous motion that it's important that we move. Now, coming back to the issue of how a functional democracy could be and how we may be strengthening a particular party and weakening the other, don't forget that every political party, every state will look at where the policies of a government to take a decision. I told you that every politics is local. For us in Delta, we have seen that this movement will help the growth of our state. Our governor was elected to bring development to the good people of Delta. And I believe that in doing so, working with the immediate past governor and other leaders of the party, that collaborating with the leaders in the APC, will to a very large extent hasten these talked about development that we are championing in our dear state. Perhaps in another state, it could be a different kettle of fish. But where we are today, that oxygen is needed for us to be able to advance the course of development. And we have seen that that oxygen is not in short supply in the way we have moved to.
Well, I mean, I wonder what this is going to mean to those members of the APC in Delta State who've been with the APC from the outset in the state and who helped build the party there. I mean, because I'm wondering whether they're going to now essentially be turfed out, because from what we've seen, what we've heard, we're told that your lot are going to join the APC as joiners, which essentially means that you're now going to be a part of the very fabric and the very structure and foundation of the APC. I mean, what happens to those people who were there before you strolled in and who essentially built the APC in Delta State from the very foundations?
I'm sure you are a very keen follower of UEFA Champions League. And when a particular player, for instance, Messi, moves from a club where he was playing before to a new club, he goes there to begin to play with the players who are in that club, and then all is for the purpose of scoring goals and then winning laurels for the new club that they have joined. For us, I made it very clear in my earlier response to one of your earlier questions that we are going to engage in the realignment of forces, all for the purpose of bringing more development to our people, reduce incidences of squabbles, build alignment and some form of collaboration with our other brothers who have been in the APC before. Nobody is going to chase anybody out. We hope and believe that as we continue to move in this direction, we'll possibly be in a position to cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and ensure that at the end of it works. If you are engaged in any political setting that does not bring about development, it means you have lost the essence of politicking. That is a very clear difference between political parties and pressure groups. For us, it is not only for us to use political party to win election. It is also that after you have won that election and you have come in together, you are able to have a much more peaceful atmosphere to develop your state. We have continued in the last 22 years to bring development to Delta, and I'm sure you may have followed through, either through media reportage or through some other means, a whole lot of development that is going on in Delta. It is not because of want of that development that we are moving, but because we believe that our movement will help us to further advance it and make it work much more for our people. So that at the end of the day, by the time we head towards 2027, even without stress, our people will say, yes, we have done so well, and we have collaborated with other of our brothers who were in a different camp before now, and so that at the end of the day, we are having a development that works for us.
Well, I mean, some have said that it might actually force people, this kind of move might actually force people to reject the APC, especially since the APC, according to them, has really nothing to show for its 10 years in office in Nigeria, and that all this might end up backfiring against you. I mean, what's your reaction to that?
Don't forget, the discussion we're having here is the decision of Delta to join the APC. We are not in a position to begin to analyze how another person, another state is going to examine what the APC have done or what they have failed to do. We are looking at what the president has done in the last 22 months in the saddle, how it affects us in Delta, And we are quite also confident with what our governor is doing here in Delta, that if we have joined forces with what the president is doing as it relates to Delta, that is going to enhance both our political development and our own social development. So what any other person may want to say in another state is a different kettle of fish. Where, like some people say that without sounding derogatory, that every possible gate man with his own kettle. Let me put it that way. And so I made it clear that if you do not change the drinking pattern of a palm wine whose tastes have changed, you are likely to either get drunk or you miss the mark. In this case, the political palm wine have indeed, the tastes have changed tremendously. And remarkably so, we have to also adjust our drinking pattern. And it's in adjusting that drinking pattern that we took the decision that we took today.
You see, one thing that is consistent about drunks is that they will never admit to you that they are drunk. And that is exactly what is playing out here. Obviously, I don't agree with everything Malam El-Rufai says or does, but you cannot pick too many O's in this.
What is the state of political parties today? I will give my own views of what I have seen in the last 2 years. The PDP, which is one of the largest and perhaps the oldest political party in this republic, is clearly targeted for destruction. It's a matter of time. There are internal mercenaries in the PDP that have been hired, paid, or otherwise motivated to destroy the party. So the party is on its way to the grave. Okay? And it's most unfortunate because His Excellency, the former Vice President, was explaining how politicians came together, essentially, put aside their differences to drive away the military. Most of these politicians ended up in the PDP. So the PDP actually represented the best of our politicians that fought for restoration of democracy. Forget those that make the most noise, but ran away from the country. Those that went to prison, those that were detained, all ended up in the PDP. Those were the real politicians that faced the military. But today, none of the founding fathers of the PDP can recognize it. Labour Party, again, targeted for destruction. And it's almost certain, the last time I had a conversation with Peter Obi himself, he admitted to me that he doesn't know what is happening in the party that he contested for president. So there seems to be a project to destroy all the opposition political parties.